Tim Jones is coming up right now. He is a Sumner County Commissioner, and I knew who to go to get the lowdown on what was going on in Gallatin. I heard this story a couple of days ago, and apparently it's come to a good resolution. But Tim joins us on the Murphy Show hotline to discuss how all of this came to be and what we know about it right now. Tim, good afternoon. Welcome in, sir.
How are you doing, Matt? Can you
I'm
hear
well.
me okay?
I can hear you great. You doing all right up there?
Yeah, doing good. You say it came to a good resolution. That's in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
Well, I don't mean maybe you know things that I don't know, perhaps. So
we're getting emails, complaints, but it's overwhelmingly positive that they're thankful we got rid of the tree. And honestly, the commission didn't get rid of the tree. The commission played no role in it at all. I just know the people who did.
Okay, so just for those unfamiliar with the story, and I'll be honest with you, Tim, I became familiar with it. I mean, we were focused on the rescue mission yesterday, so I really wasn't aware of the story until early this morning. But apparently something went down to the Gallatin Public Library where they decided to put up what could only be described as a gay pride Christmas tree. Just walk me through how all this came to be.
Okay, so on November 2nd, a tree was decorated with gay pride paraphernalia, and it displayed all the flags all over it, all the trans flags, every flag associated with the gay pride was displayed all over this tree. And apparently there was some signage that was also on it that was removed pretty quickly after, so I don't know what that said, but that was the first thing taken out. So that was November 2nd. On November 4th, an email was written by the library director asking what to do with regards to this tree, because I'll explain that in a minute with how the trees came to be. And then on November 19th, the tree was removed. Mm-hmm. William Lamberth, our state rep, called Sumner County Mayor John Isbell, and within an hour it was gone. So thankful to him and for Mayor Isbell for getting involved, because the community was just outraged. We were getting just slammed with phone calls and emails. People were just out of their minds that this religious holiday, and some people don't want to call it religious, they just, Christmas, making it non-religious, but this holiday was being hijacked for a political cause. So the way the sponsorship of a tree happens is there's a group called Friends of the Library, and they raise money for the libraries because donations can't be given the library because of rules and regulations. They all have to go to the county general fund if a donation comes in. And so if you want to donate specifically to a library, they've created these Friends of Libraries. It sounds like a good thing, but liberals have hijacked the Friends of the Library group, overwhelmingly liberal organization. So they pick and choose what things they can give money towards with the libraries when directors request, is my understanding of it, which kind of gives them too much power, and it goes along with the ALA, American Library Association, being a non-governmental organization that has a lot of power over our libraries as well. They just gain too much power, and the people have no voice in that unless they want to join one of these organizations, try to work from within. So they put out a fundraiser to sponsor Christmas trees. There's like 20-something trees in this library, and there was a contract that said that you cannot be part of a religious or political organization displayed on this tree. It's like candidates and things like that. Ironically, because Christians believe that Christmas is a religious holiday, so this group came in that was called Nashville in Harmony, and the subgroup of them, Major Minors, is a youth chorus, and a parent of this group, actually, it wasn't the group themselves. They didn't sponsor the tree. A parent whose child participates with this youth choir came in and sponsored this tree. For $100, they could decorate a tree. Mm-hmm. Well, if you look into and vet Nashville in Harmony, it is a group of, it's like very strongly affiliated with LGBTQ and
like a gay pride group or whatnot.
They are, and they target children. They're this choir, this major minors youth choir is for ages 12 to 18. And this is all found on their website, by the way. I'm not, making things up. I just looked them up myself. And the artistic director of the choir group is a homosexual. He works at the bio says he works in the intersection of religious leadership and political activism. He's an ordained minister, but he's also the chairman of the Faith Caucus, which is an interfaith group dedicated to social, economic, and environmental justice. And he's also that Faith Caucus is part of the Democratic Party in Tennessee. So it's clearly a political organization that this lady, this parent of this child, has decided to decorate this tree on behalf of.
Mm-hmm.
So because of all of that, that was the rules that they used to get rid of the tree, but it was clearly going against community standards because so many people were upset about it. I mean, the state was getting calls about it. That's why our state rep got involved. The city was getting calls about it. The county was getting calls and emails about it. And the library board was getting calls and emails about it. I mean, 100 to 1, people did not want this tree in there. Now, of course, we've had people come say they want it put back up, threatening protests and stuff like that. I don't see that that's going to happen because you mentioned this, Tim, and we're joined by Tim Jones, the Sumner County Commissioner, good friend of the show, to try to help us understand what was going on. I mean, so this was a program that people could sponsor the decoration of trees at the library, and there were, just some basic rules of the road. For example, and I'm going to use an example that will probably annoy people, but I'm going to use it as an extreme example to illustrate the point. I would imagine that if someone came along and said, I want to do a Trump tree, the rules would say, well, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep politics out of what we're trying to do at the library. Is that fair? Exactly. Right. So, I mean, while most of the people in Sumner County are supporters of Donald Trump, and where most people would be completely fine with a Trump tree, I don't think that a Trump tree would be permissible based on the rules. You don't want, you're trying to stay away from that kind of thing. This seems to me to be a clear violation of the rules of the game, right? It was clearly a violation of just plain, simple rules. But on top of that, you're creating something that's on purposely divisive in the middle of a season where you're trying to bury that kind of rhetoric and feelings and everybody kind of come together and enjoy family. And even if you're not religious, just enjoy family and friends and talking and celebrating, but here they are celebrating a highly sexualized tree while everyone else is trying to celebrate the virgin birth of our Savior Jesus Christ. Right. It's a contradiction. That's what made everybody mad. There's probably more churches in Sumner County than most counties, in the Middle Tennessee area. So, and here's where here's where I come from, Tim. I mean, I come at it this way: that I might not want to go to the gay pride parade wherever it might be in Nashville, for example, or I might not participate in a gay pride, event. But I also recognize it's free country. And if you want to organize that and promote it, and that's all well and good. But this is not that. For some reason, they want to divide a community as opposed to bring a community together. And for that standard alone, forget the issues that I know we can't forget these issues, but for that reason alone, I'm happy that you guys saw fit, not the county commission necessarily, but the powers that be saw fit to shut this down, because it was obviously meant not to bring the community together. It was meant to divide the community. Correct. And at the very worst, it was what you're describing, somebody with an agenda trying to cause division. At the very least, the most innocent form of that would be they're putting something in there that is a safe place for kids, and they're normalizing a culture that most people in that county would disagree with, and that's shown by election results. We have pretty much a conservative base in Sumner County, probably 65% at least conservative in Sumner County. And people don't want their kids exposed to that, and they don't want to answer questions from their kids about what are all these different flags mean, and they want to legitimize something that most people don't agree with.
Well, it feels like that reasonable approach only goes one way nowadays. I mean, I'll give you an example. I mean, I was at an event recently. It was a Friendsgiving type thing. And I knew that there were people of all political stripes in the room. Well, I'm not going to bust up in the room, start talking about how happy I am. I mean, I kind of wanted to talk about Trump and how awesome it was that he won re-election and all of these things. But I'm not there to cause trouble. I'm not there to cause division. I'm not there to cause anger or frustration. I mean, most people live their lives that way, that they're going to be kind to other people, even if they think they're wrong in their political views, even if they think they're wrong in their lifestyle choices, whatever. But it's sad to see such a minority of communities, even in Sumner County and other places, that, they draw attention to themselves, and maybe we're feeding into that to a certain degree. I don't know. But they try to take away from the spirit of the Christmas holiday, by doing something like this. It was frustrating to say the least, and I'm glad that you guys, up there in Sumner County shut it down.
There's a time or place, right?
That's right.
There's a time and place for
everything. And it's not in the public library where a lot of our young kids are
going. That's correct. So you really need to look into the influence of what the American Library Association, the influence they have over our libraries, a non-government, but very political organization that has a lot of power, and they control a lot of money with these Friends of Library groups, that can affect our libraries in many ways. And I would say one thing to all the people that are like-minded with us. I know you're not conservative, but sometimes you have conservative views.
Oh, sure.
Or even libertarian. Get involved in your libraries, because right now the left has a stranglehold on them. They frequent the libraries more often than the conservatives do, or it seems that way because conservatives don't speak up. But let your librarian know how you feel, and visit the libraries.
Tim, great stuff. Thank you for filling us in with exactly what went down. But there are still plenty of beautiful trees up at the Gallatin Public Library, it's my understanding, right?
Oh gosh, yes. There's 20 of them. So at least 20 of them.
And these are gorgeous, non-political, non-statement based Christmas trees.
Well, I heard one of them is has something to do with witchcraft, so we'll have to look into that one.
Well, I mean that wouldn't fit in that category. Look into that one. Let us know.
Into that, but for the most part, you're right.
Tim, thank you for filling us in, man. We appreciate everything you do up there in Sumner County. We'll talk again soon.